Deemed as bigger and bolder, the FIFA Women's World Cup gets underway tomorrow, jointly hosted by Australia and New Zealand. The United States are bidding to extend the golden era with the third straight win, while an expanded 32-team lineup with 8 nations making their debut is testimonial to the fact that women football has shaped up well since US won the inaugural 12-team tournament in China in 1991. Back home, Unilever Nepal has announced a 2.5 million rupees, the biggest ever sponsorship deal with the national women football team. Good evening, I'm Sarah Sapsanamma. Let's begin with the headlines of the hour. Members at the NC Central Committee continue to pitch their opinions on the work plan tabled by Party General Secretary Gagan Thapa. The leadership are less of ignoring provincial committees. The parliamentary hearing of proposed 6 ambassadors to begin. The hearing committee to issue public notice calling for complaints. Protests in Bangladesh calling for the resignation of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina intensifies. The opposition wants Hasina to bow out before January general elections. And Nepal laboured to a 3-wicket win over UAE at the ACC Emerging Nations Cup. Bhurtel with 6 wickets displays an all-round performance. Nepali Congress leaders have expressed resentment and have blamed the party leadership for lack of business for the provincial committees. The speakers during the party's Central Committee meeting challenged the leadership to scrape the provincial structures. They said that leaders have always coordinated directly with the district and local levels without prioritizing the provincial structure, and that this would weaken the party. They have blamed leaders at the centre for not including the provincial level in the party's organizational structure. Leaders expressed grievances regarding lack of coordination between the government and the party and failure to regulate the party in line with its principles and policies. The members said that an organizational process must be adopted to strengthen the party. Members expressed their views on the 10 agendas and the report presented yesterday. The work plan presented by Congress General Secretary Gagan Thapa includes provisions such as conduct the party's membership campaign for a year to increase the party members by 500,000 to 700,000 and increase the departments from 48 to 70. It has also been proposed to hold the Central Committee meeting in every 2 months as per the party's statute. Nepali Congress Vice President and Minister for Law, Justice and Parliamentary Affairs Dhanraj Gurung has said that the party president must be changed rather than the parliamentary party leaders in order to transform the party. During a conversation in Kantipur Television's weekly program Tough Talk, Congress Vice President Gurung stressed on the need for the leadership to change for the development of the party. Meanwhile, leader Gurung termed police investigations on the Lalita Niwas land scam as biased. The conversation that dwells on issues including dispute within Nepali Congress, controversial laws recently introduced by the government, and delay in appointment of judges at courts will be aired at 9 p.m. today at Kantipur Television HD. The Parliamentary Hearing Committee has decided to proceed the process of parliamentary hearing of 6 proposed ambassadors recently recommended for diplomatic missions. The meeting of the committee held in Singadara earlier today has decided to issue a public notice to file complaints against the proposed ambassadors within 10 days' time. The government on 11th of July recommended Lok Bahadur Thapa as the ambassador for Permanent United Nations Diplomatic Mission in New York, Ram Prasad Subedi in Switzerland, Sudhir Bhattarai in France, Ghanshyam Lamsal in Kuwait, Tej Bahadur Chetri in the United Arab Emirates, and Dhan Bahadur Oli in Thailand. During the meeting, various members had raised questions on the implementation of the principle of inclusivity as per the constitutional norm during the recommendation of the ambassadors. The members had expressed dissatisfaction, citing the ministry had been providing opportunities to the same individuals, sending ambassadors to countries according to their preference, and that eligible candidates had been deprived of the opportunity. 50% of the appointment includes first-class and special-class officers, and the remaining include people with remarkable contributions in diplomatic affairs and those that are well-versed on the dynamics of bilateral and multilateral diplomacy. Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal is scheduled to visit Italy next week. The meeting of the Council of Ministers held at the Prime Minister's official residence in Balwatar approved the Premier's visit to Italy that will begin from the 23rd of July. The delegation that is scheduled to attend the UN Food Systems Summit in Italy includes the Minister for Agriculture and Livestock, Beduram Pushal. Likewise, the meeting has also decided to provide concession on fees charged for company registration and capital increment. Meanwhile, the government has decided to appoint Dr. Ravi Malla as a board member of the Shahid Gangalal National Heart Centre. Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal has said that the government is committed to transform the lives of the general public by prioritizing social justice, good governance and prosperity. Addressing a program organized in Kathmandu on the occasion of 61st Engineering Day, Premier Dahal said that the government has intensified the campaign against corruption to achieve government target of good governance. The Prime Minister pledged to amend various acts and policies to prevent errors in identifying those involved in corruption and irregularities. Prime Minister Dahal added that the trend of carrying out development works during the end of the fiscal year, which falls during the monsoon season, has been ineffective and that it should be changed. It's time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion. The question is, why has the attraction towards the study of agriculture reduced in an agricultural country? Your options are A, expensive, B, lack of employment opportunities, and C, no understanding of significance. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. A demonstration has been held in Itahari demanding justice for Lal Bahadur Bishwakarma alias Gopal, a local resident of Brahmapur, Itahari, citing the verdict issued by the Sunsari District Court was unfair. The Sunsari District Court had slapped a fine of 31,411,148 rupees on Lal Bahadur for his involvement in a fraud in Singadevi Jewellers, which has been in operation in Tarahara, Sunsari since 2015. Lal Bahadur used to make jewelleries at the store on wedges. The court issued a verdict of 1.5 years in jail and 70,000 rupees fine for Lal Bahadur on another case of forgery. He is being held at the prison in Jhumka of Sunsari for the past 8 months. The District Court Sunsari had filed a case against Lal Bahadur, who used to work at the jewellery store, which was being operated by Krishna BK, Deepak Gazmer, Kamal Gazmer and Sita BK on charges of illegal operation of financial institution. The District Court has issued a verdict on charges of illegally operating financial institution, collecting public money and forgery. It has been 8 months since Lal Bahadur filed an appeal against the verdict of the district at the Biratnagar High Court, while the High Court has scheduled hearings on 8 occasions so far. The 9th hearing has been scheduled for the 1st of August next month. E. coliform, a bacteria that is typically found in feces, has been detected while conducting tests in 33 water sources as well as in Myagdi's Galishore Old Age Home, Gatan Health Post and Patalikhet Health Post. E. coliform bacteria has been detected in 33 out of 111 samples of water that were collected from 6 local levels of Myagdi. Based on the alarming number of patients reporting diarrhea and stomach ailments, the District Health Office Myagdi conducted tests on the samples of water they had been drinking and had detected the bacteria. Let's move on to the international update. At least one opposition activist has died and hundreds of others were injured in clashes across Bangladesh as tens of thousands demanded Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's removal ahead of elections expected in January. Hasina's Awami League has ruled the world's 8th most populous country since 2009 and has been accused of human rights abuses and corruption. The opposition Bangladesh Nationalist Party BNP, led by former Prime Minister Khaleda Zia, and dozens of smaller allies have called for protests throughout the country to demand Hasina to step down and the polls take place under a neutral caretaker government. In Dhaka, activists and supporters from different parts of the city joined the march that stretched for nearly 13 kilometers, bringing traffic at different points to a standstill for hours on a busy weekday. The United States has called for a free and fair election, and 2 senior State Department representatives met with local officials in Dhaka last week. The BNP and its allies accused Hasina's party of rigging the 2 most recent elections in 2018 and 14. The next general election is due before the current parliament's term expires in late January. Russia has launched a massive air attack on the Ukrainian port of Odessa for a second night in a row, which Ukrainian officials have described as hellish. The attacks on Odessa, one of Ukraine's main ports for exporting grain, followed a pledge of retaliation by Russia after a blast on a bridge linking Russia to Crimean Peninsula on Monday that Moscow blamed on Ukraine. Ukraine claims Russia intentionally struck the port of Odessa to destroy the possibility of shipping Ukrainian grain. Russia's defense ministry has said its forces have destroyed a stray Ukrainian mine drifting in the southwestern part of the Black Sea. Mikhailo Podolak, political advisor to Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky, has said Russia intentionally struck grain terminals and port infrastructure in Odisha in its latest airstrikes. More than 2,000 people from the area near the Kirovsky military base in Crimea will be temporarily evacuated after a fire broke out at the base, the Russian-installed governor of Crimea said, without providing any reason for the fire as of yet. Now, Thailand's constitutional court ordered a temporary suspension of Prime Ministerial candidate Pita Lemjaronrath from Parliament today, after accepting, in fact, a case against him alleging he was unqualified to run in a May 14th election. The court decision came after accepting a case that alleges Pita, leader of the election-winning Move Forward party, was unqualified to run in a May 14th election because he held shares in a media company in violation of electoral rules. Pita, who was due to contest a parliamentary vote on the premiership today, has argued his ownership of shares in a media company was not a violation of election rules. He has 15 days to respond, the court said in a statement. Several Move Forward party supporters gathered just outside the parliament to express their rage over the court's decision just after the announcement. China's foreign ministry has urged for meaningful dialogue after North Korea launched 2 ballistic missiles into a sea a day earlier. Japan's and South Korea's militaries confirmed the launches just hours after a U.S. ballistic missile submarine arrived in a South Korean port for the first time in 4 decades. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Mao Ning said the tense situation on the peninsula is concerning and that China hopes the relevant parties will continue in the direction of political settlement. The firing comes nearly a week after North Korea tested its latest Hwasong-18 intercontinental ballistic missile, a launch Pyongyang said was a warning to the U.S. and other adversaries. A U.S. soldier facing disciplinary action had fled across the inter-Korean border into North Korea yesterday. The soldier is believed to be in North Korean custody, Washington said, creating a fresh crisis between the two foes. Now, the United Nations Security Council held its first meeting on artificial intelligence, where China said the technology should not become a runaway horse, and the United States warned against its use to censor or repress people. The 15-member council was briefed by UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres, Jack Clark, co-founder of high-profile AI startup Anthropic, and Professor Zheng Yi, co-director of the China-UK Research Center. China's UN ambassador Zhang Jun described AI as a double-edged sword and said Beijing supports a central coordinating role of the UN on establishing guiding principle for AI. Deputy US Ambassador to the UN, Jeffrey De Laurentiis, also said there was a need for countries to also work together on AI and other emerging technologies to address human rights risks that threaten to undermine peace and security. Japan's government spokesperson has said some Japanese seafood exports to China have been stopped at Chinese customs after local media reported China had begun blanket radiation testing on its seafood imports. The blanket testing is seen as a move to put pressure on Tokyo's plan to release treated radioactive water from the Fukushima nuclear plant into the sea, Japanese media reported. Japan is set to start releasing more than 1 million tons of water from the wrecked Fukushima nuclear power plant this summer. China has emerged as the most vocal of those critics, saying the plan would endanger the environment and human lives. The Japanese government maintains that International Atomic Energy Agency has deemed Japan's plan to release the advanced liquid processing system treated water into the Pacific Ocean to be in line with international safety standards. Researchers have said ancient Buddhist murals in northwestern China are under direct threat as a result of unprecedented levels of rainfall brought about by climate change. Extreme rainfall in Dunhuang and Jiangye in China's Gansu province has put UNESCO-listed World Heritage Sites at risk, with cave monasteries dating back to the 4th century already damaged. Rainwater leaks and rising humidity have damaged ancient cave paintings, including those in the most infamous Bogao grottos, and some caves have even collapsed. China is conducting a nationwide cultural heritage survey, but researchers have warned that some of the country's treasures could already be gone by the time it is completed. Nepal's star striker Sabitra Bhandari has claimed that her performance in the European League would transform the way Nepal's women's football would be seen from now onwards. Speaking at a function today to bid her goodbye for her appearance in Israel's Hapoel FC, Sabitra said that she was ready for the new challenge. Sabitra, incidentally, is the first Nepali to play professional football in Europe. Minister for Sports Dig Bahadur Limbu and for President Pankaj Nemwang and Israel Ambassador to Nepal Hanan Godar bade farewell to Sabitra Bhandari. The star forward of South Asian football, Sabitra has struck a one-year contract with Hapoel FC. Ambassador Hanan said that the Israel spectators were eagerly waiting to see Sabitra Bhandari's football talent. Apart from helping Nepal win the friendly series against Bangladesh, Sabitra had also featured in the prestigious Indian Women League, bagging the Golden Boot for the top scorer. That is all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.